My name is Duane. In 2009, I was injured in a motorcycle accident. Me and two friends went on a 4-day holiday through the States, and we were just about to Medicine Hat, and I was coming up behind a slow-moving gravel truck. We were in a 80 zone, and he was doing half that speed maybe. As I got behind him, I didn't see any signal lights, any brake lights, nothing. So I went to go pass him, and pretty much when I got right beside him, he decided to turn left to go down a range road. And I didn't have any time to stop, nowhere to turn around him. I braked as hard as I could, and I ended up hitting him head first. When I woke up, I remember yelling at people to check his signal lights, and there was no working signal lights. He didn't have the right class license to be driving a truck that big. But I was taken to the hospital, Medicine Hat Hospital, and they did some scans, and me and my wife, who was 7 months pregnant at that time, we were both airlifted to Foothills Medical Center in Calgary, and then they found out there that I broke 5 vertebrae. The vertebrae, the T2, is right at my armpit, so I have no movement from below my armpits, no sensation. I also broke 3 ribs, my sternum, my wrist, left wrist, and my right shoulder is rotated in its socket. So there's still some aches and pains and stuff to deal with that, but I'm lucky enough to be alive. And we spent 5 months in Foothills, where you pretty much learn to live a new life, an adapted life. So after the accident, we had to sell our house that we just built. Had 3 flights of stairs, and stairs and wheelchairs don't mix. So we had a new house built that is fully accessible. It has an elevator in it to get to the basement, and the kitchen's fully accessible, the garage is accessible, bathroom's accessible. So we had to modify that and get this built. We also needed accessible vehicles. My daily driver is a van, a minivan, my Loser Cruiser. It has a ramp that shoots out of the side, and I wheel in it, and the seats slide back and forth, and I drive with hand controls. We also have a truck and camper. We still go camp, but it's not the way we used to do it with tents. It's now called glamping or RVing. We haul a trailer that's all accessorized. It has a lift to lift me in, a roll-in shower. It's all completely modified so that I can use it. The things that I love to do, I still do. I just have to modify the way I do it. Something may take me 10 times longer to do if I ask someone for help, but I still do it. I can still do oil changes and rotate the tires and all that stuff. But now and then you have to accept defeat and ask for help once in a while, but I like to do as much as I can myself. I changed, I think, in a lot of ways. I used to joke around and be a kind of a prankster and very outspoken before. And kind of after the accident and you go through everything you have mentally, you suffer through a lot of depression. I used to always think about the stuff I couldn't do and the stuff I used to do, and it's just like a cancer. It just kind of eats you up. And it took me, a good 2 years to kind of get my head straight and just to kind of flip the script on how I was thinking about things, how I would approach certain things. And now it's kind of like a new normal for me. But I think I'm more relaxed. I have a little bit more understanding now. I feel like my windshield's a little bit bigger. I get a bigger picture of life now. Things someone could do is just, I find, to be aware about other people, that's not in, their situation. It's just the simple things like parking in a handicap stall or pushing your carts, you know, in a handicap stall, parking across the sidewalk, just little mindless things like that, holding a door open maybe, or just talking to them, asking them how your day is going, and just being real with them one-on-one, and don't just come up and say, what's wrong with you? I've had that many times, and it's kind of insulting, and for me personally, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I find if you just be real to someone, you know, with a disability, that's just, it's how you make friends, and that's how life goes.
December 2nd of '96, I was actually down by my bins, and I got myself caught up in the PTO shaft on a grain auger. And I have, of course, adapted hopefully quite well over the number of years. And like that was just about 21 years ago. Of course, we're so used to using everything with two hands, so I had to not so much adapt, but to learn different things to do. You know, basic, you know, tying your shoelaces, putting your clothes on, you know, buckling the belt and zipping up zippers, all those type of things. So after a while, you know, I did end up getting more used to it, but it was still at times challenging. I regained my confidence because of the love of farming and the work that we were doing here on the farm. I also ran an organic seed cleaning plant. So I, you know, just carried on. Like after I was all healed up from all my injuries, I just came out and slowly, you know, readapted myself into the farming practices, but I never let it hold me back. Farming is very physical. I didn't really adapt too many things on the farm. When we were shoveling grain, for example, I did either adapt using, you know, my short little stub to hold a grain shovel, or there was the odd time when, because I do have a prosthesis, that I actually put a strap on the grain shovel to hook onto the hook, and it actually worked out pretty good. Everything else, I pretty much either use, you know, my teeth for things, you know, my knees, or, you know, whatever I can to, you know, hold things. So there's not very many things I've actually had to adapt. I've just had to adapt my body to kind of accept certain things that I had to do. Climbing up into equipment is a challenge. You know, you try and keep that 3-point of contact, which is very, very important. I have to be very, very careful, of course, because, you know, most ladders you have to actually, you know, let go to climb up, but a lot of the ones that are on the equipment now, you can pretty much grab and, you know, kind of slide your hands up. So I've had to be very, very careful in doing that, and just very conscious of my balance and that 3-point contact as much as I can. I do live a good life, and I'm very pleased with everything that's happened, even though that I have had this accident. A lot of times I don't even think of it as a disability. I just carry on my life. There you go. You know, we can still do all the different things that are in front of us. You know, and yes, there are some challenges with it, but yet we can still lift our heads up and carry on our day-to-day and our work, in our play, and, you know, love of family. Just that it's nice to see that people can accept that.
I have been visually impaired and up to being totally blind for probably the last just about 35 to 40 years. It's my condition, which is retinitis pigmentosus. It is a gradual vision loss, and so it starts with night blindness, and then it proceeds into tunneling into a vision loss until I'm totally blind.
They do smell nice, don't they?
Is always an adjustment from start to finish. From the first time I was diagnosed, you have an adjustment period of what is this going to be, because when I was first diagnosed, I thought the doctor was absolutely crazy because I thought I could see perfectly well because I only knew what I could see. I'd always had trouble with vision at night being an issue all my life, but I thought everybody had a problem with vision at night. Gradually, I didn't know any different. That's what I felt that everybody saw. So it was, just an adjustment to knowing that there was a possibility of me going totally blind when I was first diagnosed. It was very, very scary, but I kind of put it off, as everybody does, until it affects you. I think the very first time that I had a huge adjustment was when I couldn't read anymore. The letters just weren't there. They were too small. I, just had trouble coping with that. And at the same time, I had to quit work because I was working in a retail situation, and that was just too difficult to keep up in that workplace. So I had to quit work. So that was really quite devastating, and that was the first big adjustment. And I think possibly the hardest is I was very depressed. I didn't feel like I had any self-worth. I didn't think I could contribute to society or contribute to financial well-being in our household. As a mother or as a wife, I felt that I had really lots of failings and really started into severe depression. And so I made the decision then that I was tired of that. I didn't want to live in that situation, and recruited into the CNIB as needing some help from some of the service workers. So I started with orientation and mobility, which gave me some independence of working with a cane and moving forward. The thing that really helped me get my independence and self-confidence was I started volunteering at the CNIB office. It was newly opened here as a satellite office. They had a worker, but of course at that time the workers actually went out into the community and saw clients in their homes. And so the office needed to have someone to answer the phone, to be there, and of course she was just a part-time worker at that particular time. So we wanted to keep a little bit more continuity in the community and have somebody in that facility to be able to answer questions, take referrals from doctors, the paperwork, and that type of thing. So I started volunteering for 4 days a week, and that actually gave me a really good sense of self-worth. And that really helped me. I was able to be around other people who had vision loss and put it into perspective. It wasn't, I wasn't the worst off, in this, as you really do feel that sometimes you are, it can't get any worse than it is. And now I look back and I just laugh because I could see so much better back then than I do now. It's like, oh, why did I think that was so bad? But it is a loss, and you do have to grieve it. But that is one of the things that really, really helped me get my confidence back. Another thing was that I made the decision to get a guide dog, and that really gave me my independence back. It was tremendously uplifting to be able to go by myself and feel confident that I could do it with the help of a guide dog. So those are two really, really life-changing periods in my life and in my life of being a visually impaired or blind person. Did that?
Center of 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Something really, really important to people who have any type of disability. You still have to have a good sense of self-worth. You have to feel needed. You have to feel that you can contribute to a part of society. And so I really think that you have to find whatever it is. If it's you know, just being out in your community and showing people that it's doable and it's workable. I think that that's really, really important.
Okay.
I can live independently, and it's not just me. There are many, many people living independently with a vision loss and other disabilities with help. I mean, you do not ever go through life by yourself, with a disability or not, and there's always ways and to do things differently. And I think, I hope that people get out that it is a life-altering experience, but it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It doesn't have to be so depressing that you can't get through life. And I have been there, and I have done that, and I didn't enjoy that experience. So I felt that I really did need help, and I do need encouragement from people to be able to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And I think that's the biggest thing with people, is their lack of understanding that, you know, you can still do things, and that I'm a person first, and I'm the same as everybody else. I have times I'm down, I have times I'm up, and I can still contribute to society. I think that's the biggest thing.
That was it. And all this thing kept on unwinding.
My name's Sheri Herselman. I have learning, hearing, and mobile impairments. I like to hang out with my family and my friends. I love to knit. I love to read. I love to go for walks, go to the gym, and so many, many things I like to do. I have 2 hearing aids, which makes my balance hard and makes walking on slippery surfaces and uneven places hard. Hey, Cheryl. I have to experience a lot, like learn when I given a new task, I have to learn it and to maybe have more understanding about it. But I do have help. A support staff from Ready will come and help me until I'm comfortable and confident that I can do my job, and then they leave so I can do it independently. And I love my work, and I do take it very seriously, and I take pride of what I do. I have 2 part-time jobs, which I love. I have one, I work at Human Resources for the City of Medicine Hat. I've worked there for 5 years. I do Blue Cross enrollment, benefit packages, and as well as some computer work and some filing and scanning as well. I also have worked part-time Burger King for 15 years. I'm actually a dining room attendant, and where I clean tables and stuff. And my supervisor has always said that she loves it, how she can always count on me to do something without asking for me to do it. My coworkers are very important to me, and it's always good that they feel that they can count on me, and the same that I can count on them as well. If I had one wish that people would know about persons with disability, is that we're actually the same as everyone else. We just have to learn. When we learn new things, we have to adapt, and once we do, and we adapt with what we learned, and then we're just like anybody else. You know, we may learn and we may think differently. So the next time you see somebody with a disability, they're no any different than you or me, and that don't be afraid to befriend somebody or hire somebody with a disability. It's hard to grow up with a disability sometimes, especially when you're around people that think that you're different or you look different, and then they have to treat you different just because you have a disability, but really you're not. I actually wrote a poem that I read quite a few years ago for the Medicine Hat Writers Club. Who I am someone you see every day at school eating lunch alone. Who I am, someone you tease and point your finger at every time you walk past. Who I am, someone you think can't do anything because he or she is disabled. Who I am, someone you think is clumsy. Who I am is someone you think is not attractive enough. Who I am, someone who doesn't talk right. Who I am, the person who can do different things than others can. Who I am, the person who's writing this poem right now. Who I am, who loves everyone and cares about everybody, no matter who or what they are. Who I am, me. I am proud of me. Who I am is who you are.